Monbasa Mvita, Alleviation of Poverty in Africa, Asia and Latin America. This is a dear topic to me because there was a time when some religious man was preaching and he said poverty is a devil. There can be no cure for it. When I woke up this morning, I started thinking about alleviation of poverty, and as usual, there are those who communicate to me as psychic, and they are also a threat. Talk about poverty alleviation, and don't go to the place where you're doing a small business. Don't even get out of there because you are going to send somebody to finish you. You will see the power of the money. So this is what I say. If it's God who kept me all along, God will keep me all along. But I'm going to talk about this topic without fear. And if anybody wants to send in the people, because he said, I will see the mighty power of the money. I won't mention the money. So this is it. Most of the countries in this continent first have been colonized by countries from Europe. But not only that, they have also had their trading with the big country in the world, USA and others. And most of their leaders are mostly inclined towards those places. So what happens? There are few currencies that dictate the world market. You know them, and not mention them. And they have to tune their currency to these currencies. And what happens is, they are always given the shorter part of the stick. That's why poverty is difficult to alleviate in these countries. You have to trade with a neighboring country with a price put from somewhere else. You have to deal with things within your own country with prices put from elsewhere. And then you always have the hope that your people will go to those countries to enjoy the life there. And those people in those countries have also gotten tired of getting extra baggage. There's xenophobia in most of the countries anyway. Because people come, and now the people in those places are feeling that they are being shortchanged. The money their government will have been giving to them is being used on other people. They blame these other people for the increase of crime in their country. But when we come to these very countries, their leaders, their businessmen have focused their eyes on these countries. That's where they put their investments, that's where they send their children to school, and that's where they get their things to. So mostly what happens, the civilians of these other countries are given the shorter part of the stick to hold on. And this is what has been happening. There are countries with the resources, but they are selling the things at the called market price. What is the purpose of being a producer when you can't get the benefits of dictating the price in your own area? Must it be the international price? That's what has been happening. People who mostly trade with these countries are the people who are elite in their systems, and the people who make sure there is a money flight to the developed countries. They don't need this money, they already have the money. But these people mostly invest in those countries so that they can mess up the economies in these places and have a safe haven in these other places. There was a time I came up with an idea of countries within zones being able to trade. There is money in these countries. Let's say Argentina and Brazil. Do you have to convert your money to other currencies if it's just across? Why can't somebody buy goods in Brazilian currency in Argentina? Or you exchange your money from Brazil to the Argentinian money and buy goods across. Why should somebody in Ecuador or in Venezuela or in what do we call it? Let's say Puerto Rico, have to change currency when they're trading with the neighboring countries? Surely, does it make sense? Because that other country uses currency, this other country uses currency. You are a producer of a produce, and they are buyers of that produce. Since your things are not rooted very far, you don't go far. Is it very difficult for somebody to organize inter-countries? This is what we need. This is what we are selling. Let's have a price of our own here and trade it in our own currencies. Is it a crime to trade in that manner? Because it's very interesting when people in these developing countries, let's say Namibia, South Africa, let's say Nigeria, Ghana, let's say Ethiopia, Eritrea. What is this difficult thing that you have to rate your produce in the so-called international prices when you are next to one another? You are being hit by poverty, you are producing. The transport cost is not much. Why not sell at a price that is affordable in your country and that price can be set to your neighbor? Does it mean that one has to go to those international currencies? Because I would understand those who are traveling to these other countries. And there are so many people who travel to these countries. But you find most of the currencies, you're always told the international price, the international price. And what happens? The international price is so inflated that when you keep with that, you will never, at any time, never alleviate poverty in these developing countries. Like it or not, they will remain, in fact, they will become poorer and poorer and poorer. Because to alleviate the problem of these raised currencies, they have again to go to those places to borrow their own money that they put there. So they will be eternally in debt. Eternally in debt. No matter what programs people tell you, those are all lies. They cannot be able to keep up with them. Because I don't see why I should produce maize. I've produced maize. And then the maize price is, let's say 100 Kenyan shillings. And I'm telling my very own family, you have to get maize at 100 Kenyan shillings. This is maize from our garden. What if I sell them at 30 bob? Where is the loss? They participated in the growing. When you go far, then you can talk of the transport costs and all those things, and now put that international rating. Do you want to say that currencies in these other countries are not currencies? It's only currencies in specific parts of the world that are currencies. And then why do people in these countries trade in these currencies? Why don't we just get rid of all these other currencies and have those few currencies and trade comfortably, where you know this is our exchange rate and this is the money I'm trading in? It doesn't make sense. And no matter what strategies people tell you about alleviation of poverty. Unless that is done, eternally, these countries will remain in poverty. I've said it. Those who are threatening, this is the truth. Alleviation of poverty cannot be attained by that. People realizing that they can be able to get what they are producing at an affordable price. What they are producing, what their neighbor produces at affordable price. They don't have to have those many exchange rates. Why are you rating your money, your currencies, when you're trading with one another on other international prices when you're not even handling that money? It doesn't make sense. It is a way of putting people into poverty slavery forever. That is my take. That is my say. That is carry and go for. You can carry and go with the information. But that's the truth. And that will remain the ultimate truth unless there's change in that. Unless there is change in the vision of these countries. That alleviation of poverty starts with them putting things at rates that they can be able to afford and doing things in a manner that will be cheap for them. Forget about poverty alleviation. No bank, nothing will ever alleviate that. You are stuck in poverty forever. That's my take.